Can you hear me okay there in the Floorlands? It's amazing, isn't it? One time Tokyo called me from Switzerland a long time ago, and it just struck me as proof that everything's one. How could I be sitting there talking to someone in Switzerland and there's like no lag? It's just like she's right there. She could be in the next room. Everything must be one. Proof positive. Just do a phone call. Anyway, thank you for your practice, everyone. I haven't really been participating in session, which is not the usual way that speakers are determined. That when you sit session, yeah, the ego does fade a little, loosens up a little, just gets so tired that it gives up. Everybody was amazed. I talked about when I felt like I was broke in Japan. They broke me. That was what I said to myself. But the experience was, and boy, people have different ideas what that experience was like. Like maybe I went crazy running around the center or something. But it just was, I give up. I give up trying to change things. I give up trying to be in control. I give up trying to get my way. I'm just gonna sit here. And that was the feeling. It wasn't like a great samadhi experience, which happens in session sometimes, but it was more just I give up. That's the only way I have to describe it. So anyway, that when we're close during session, we're closer to that experience of no self. So it's kind of weird having someone come in who's not been sitting and just worrying and fussing about the ceremony coming up. But Choa asked me to speak, so I will. And actually, that's the koan I picked. I had nothing. We were trying to get ready for this ceremony, which is wonderful. I didn't mean to make a gesture like the ceremony. It's wonderful. So happy we're doing this. But a lot to prepare. So Choa asked me to speak because he's got some things to do. So that's why I'm speaking. And I said, there's nothing there. There's nothing in the well. I have nothing. I said, maybe they can just sit, And then bam, all this stuff happened. And I know that's not me. Not the little me, the little ego that wants to impress you with some fancy speech. The Dharma going, there's lots to say, and here's some of it. And I just remember there's two koans I always talk about during Ongo. It's kind of like ritual almost. And this is, we're really concentrating. I have been concentrating on the Kyoshin ceremony to become a preceptor, which means she'll be empowered to give the precepts. But also, some of you have been sitting strong for 90 days or however many days you've been sitting, which is amazing. It's amazing to do that, and also a time of celebration as you do that kind of milestone. So these are a couple ones I can talk about in Ongo, and one of them, there it goes. Go blank. Where are you? Thank you. Korin, this is Korin. Korin gets tired. Case 17 of the Blue Cliff record. The monk asked Korin, "What is the meaning of Bodhidharma's coming east?" Korin said, "I am tired of sitting so long." That's it. I'm tired of sitting so long. Many of you may relate to this. Many of you may feel the same way after 90 days of sitting. Oh, it reminds me of a joke. I was trying to think what that reminded me of. Since this is the last day, Father Kennedy, he is one of the most wonderful people in the world, just such a dear man. And he's a Jesuit priest, monk, priest, I don't know. And he's a Zen master. Bernie gave him transmission. He's not a Buddhist, he's a Christian. And he's a Zen master. But anyway, he told this joke. Sorry, I don't know how it relates. I think maybe I can relate it. But he's visiting the hospice for nuns. And he goes and just talks to the nuns and kind of cheers them up. And he sits down, sits on the bed. Such an intimate man, Bob Kennedy. And he says, "Sister, how are you doing?" And she says, "Not so good." He says, "Well, what's wrong?" And she says, "Father, I'm sick and tired of this celibate life." And Bob said, "Sister, so am I. So sick and tired of sitting, sick and tired of my vows, sick and tired of my life as it is. Just that, just tired." What is the meaning of Bodhidharma's coming east? So Bodhidharma went from India to China. So if we're in China, we're saying, why did Bodhidharma come east? Bodhidharma, of course, the first ancestor, Chinese ancestor. I mean, he's Indian, but he's an immigrant. So he became Chinese, I guess, when he got to China. So what is it? Why did he, apparently that voyage was incredibly difficult, because you go, I just read this, like you can't just go, you don't drive a boat, I don't know, row a boat, whatever you do with the boat, you can't just go straight from India to China, because there's this tremendous current or whatever. So you, in those days, they didn't have motors, and you'd have to go way down. So that would be south, I guess, way south, and then catch it going back. And you'd miss it a bunch of times. So then you'd have to go try again. So years and years and years before they finally made it across whatever that current is, they being Bodhidharma. Why? What did he bring? Of course, he's awakened. You receive transmission from his teacher. He's awakened to the oneness of all things. But what is that? Being awakened. What is Buddha's enlightenment? Bodhidharma was Buddha's enlightenment. What is that? So that's what the question is. What is that? There must be a way to say, please don't go off. Anyway, and Corinne said, I'm tired of sitting so long. Just that, just this moment. And I was talking about that koan about Choza going wandering in the hills. And it sounds really nice, but also as he headed out, he saw all the spring grasses and the dew, and coming back saw the fallen flowers, for beginning of his journey is young and a lot of energy, and his mind worked. And then when you get older and we don't have as much energy and our mind quits working, and just that is awakening, to be whatever we are, to be who you are without the extra stuff. And then the extra stuff is it. So if you're sitting and mumbling to yourself, what am I doing? What is this? This is crazy. Why am I? I mean, I spent, I think, 40 years doing sesshin every month. And I wanted to. I wanted to see what Buddha saw. I really wanted to. So this, and everyone has a different path. Everybody's path is different. For some reason, mine was a lot of Zazen. Ongo twice a year, once a year, twice a year, 40 years. And now sometimes I think, what was I doing? Could have been going to the movies. And then when you're going to the movies all the time, you're like, how am I wasting my life going to the movies all the time? You know, just be. Be. And that's our Zazen practice. So, like when we started sitting this morning, not this morning, it's just about half an hour ago this happened. I started getting into this kind of stuck place in my neck. It's been with me forever. And it really started releasing. It was really, oh, you know, it was great. Felt so good. And then there was that music, and it was lovely music, but it distracted me. I was so mad. I was almost there. I almost had it. That almost released. And then you had to distract me. Rather than move to, oh, what beautiful music. Be the music. To the no self means to be one with everything, to move with everything. And it doesn't mean passively. I mean, if I've been distracted by someone outside the door hitting a kid and the child was screaming in pain, I would go do something about it. So being one with, a yoga got mugged long ago at CCLA. That was during maybe around the Rodney King time, but there's a lot of friction between African Americans and Korean Americans, and of course the Kyoku is part Japanese. But anyway, this guy attacked her right outside of CCLA. But boy, did she scream bloody murder. She crawled under a guard, just screaming as loud as she could. And everyone in the Zendo ran out. Help, of course. So it's not just be with pain. Do something about it. if we can, and if we can't, then just be the same. So that is sitting long and getting tired, ongoing. I'm not going to yell at the computer this time. Please come back. Like kindness. Then the other koan I like for Ongo that I always talk about is Swegan's eyebrows, because it's about Ongo. It's the end of Ongo. And this translation says Swegan is like the teacher, but I think it's seen that he was the head monk. So usually during Ongo we have a head monk who is really fairly junior, who this is their opportunity to be in a more senior position. And basically they're leading the Ongo by example, by doing the schedule, you know, encouraging others, and I don't know, like the dorm leader or something. But Dwegan is head monk, and he says to his brothers, his Dharma brothers, and you know, gender-wise, I'm not sure what they were doing. I'm sure there's some women. I feel so confident there were women acting like men because that felt more authentic for them, or to be able to practice, because women weren't allowed to practice. So anyway, but we say Dharma brothers, they're Dharma siblings, Dharma siblings. Sweden says, all summer I've been preaching to you. So all summer, this translation isn't as good as some of the others, but I don't have my books with me. But all summer I've been talking to you about the Dharma. Look closely. Do I still have my eyebrows? And the note is that if you preach the wrong Dharma, your eyebrows will fall off. But others say, which seems more correct, if you lie, your eyebrows will fall off. So like Pinocchio, if you lie, your nose grows. This, the Chinese thing is if you lie, your eyebrows will fall out. I have very big eyebrows, which is kind of a lie. So all summer, this is the summer Ongo, I've been talking about the Dharma. And of course, the talk about it is a lie. Because of why? Because just be it. As soon as you talk about it, as soon as I talk about it, like right now, I'm separating. The reason I don't like to give talks is seriously, I am so ashamed every time after I give a talk, because I know it was lies. And yet we do, we do. It's called upaya, for the sake of inspiring you to do zazen. So that, like, the practice isn't about listening to talks and getting enlightened, or going to interview and getting enlightened. The practice is about you waking up to who you are, and the one who does that is you. So the talk is just a feeble attempt to inspire the greatness that is you, to be, find yourself, to realize yourself as whatever you want to call it, Buddha, Yaksha. So we do that. That's what we do in our tradition. Um, Hofuku said, the robber is in a funk. So that's something we say about a Zen teacher, the robber snatching away your delusions. So it's a compliment. Oh, you were snatching my delusion. So part of the function of interviews or working with the teacher that they try to knock us a little bit when we're stuck. And of course, it can go very wrong. It can be abusive, very tricky. That's why upaya is so tricky. But this is like a compliment from Hofuku. Oh, well, you've been robbing us of with your talk. You've been robbing us. You've been stealing my delusion. It's a compliment. You're a good teacher. You're doing a good job. And Choki says the translation is different from this. This says, there they are, but it's, you have eyebrows. Again, it's a compliment. And they're Dharma companions. They spend 90 days practicing together, so they're being nice to each other. And, oh, your eyebrows are so big and bushy because you just told the truth. Only told the truth. But Uman was one of the great teachers of our tradition. He says, Khan, which means barrier, which means all this bullshit is a barrier. To what? To just be here, sitting long and getting tired. All this thinking about, oh, I'm so ashamed because I lied. I don't ever want to do that. Barrier. Or I'm so great. Wow. I love to give Dharma talks and be wise. Or whatever extra. It's stupid. Just sitting still. What is that about? All of the, why do we sit, blah, blah, blah. All of that. Barrier. So what is our practice? It's just to be here. And that's what you did for 90 days. Sat here with whatever came up, like the wandering, sometimes of wonderful experiences, of oneness, samadhi experiences. It's such a relief to let go of what we're holding on to. And sometimes we fall into a pit of worry or fear or whatever is in our makeup, our karmic makeup. Just sitting with that for 90 days is such a powerful thing. And you have no idea. I have no idea of the effects of that sitting. They say Bodhidharma, they say, I believe Dogen says, the effects of his 7 years of upright sitting. So when he came to China, he got mad right away because they wanted him to be the Zen master in the temple, in the emperor's house. So he got mad and went off and just sat in the snow for 7 years or 10 years, 9 years, I don't know how many years I forgot. But the effects of that, just sitting all by himself till the second ancestor showed up. For many years, Bart felt to this day. Why? Because we're here. We're here. You, however, are not here. And you came back. What's his name? Tom Pappas at Mountain Center. was telling me how he came to Zen practice. And he said he had this dream. He's an artist. He's just being an artist in New York. And he had a dream that this little guy showed up and told him how to do Zazen, showed him how to do Zazen in his dream, and left. And then he saw, looked up some pictures. It was Rinzai. How weird is that? How amazing is that? Consequence, years and years of sitting, that Rinzai's just bopping around, showing us how to sit. And just to tie it into that koan that's becoming my favorite koan, about the training head and the old Roshi, and the head of training, the old Roshi goes off wandering in the woods, and the head of training, who's a monk, very upright. There's a schedule and you stick to it, no talking, no missing, all the container, pretty rigid guy. And here's old Roshi just wandering around in the woods. And the koans kind of seem that the old Roshi has transcended practice, but I don't think so. I think it's showing the two sides, that the head monk and those of us who make these vows, these crazy vows that follow a schedule that we think up. We used to laugh at ZCLA because we would get together and figure out the schedule. And everybody would agree. We'd have a committee meeting. Everybody would agree, this is what we're going to do, same amount there, figure out the schedule. And then we do it, and then we'd hate it. And everybody complained, the schedule's too hard. I hate the schedule. But we made it. Gempo did a workshop once where he said, you can do whatever you want right now. Everybody do whatever they want to do. And nobody got up and left. And he was like kind of making fun of us. But I think nobody wanted to leave. They wanted to see what Gempo did next. But so we can say to speak is delusion, to teach the Dharma is delusion. But also it's true we have to try. So the training monk represents that trying. We have to try. It's just going, everything's perfect. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. That's not it. But on the other hand, getting caught up in form, or especially ideas about Dharma, oh, save us from Dharma talks. That's not it. So I think that koan talks about, and these koan is, the point is to just be here, whatever our life is, wandering the beautiful spring mountains or watching winter come. But at least we think in this tradition that we have to have the discipline to investigate it and have that vow to realize what Buddha realized. There's nothing standing between what Buddha realized and what you realize. Nothing, because it's true nature. So everybody's got it. Everyone can realize it. All you need is to somehow figure out how to do it. So vow. All you need is vow. All you need is vow. Crazy. Yeah. So anyway, I'm congratulating you on your vow and your effort, and I'm commiserating with how hard it is, and appreciating that you're willing to take that step, that very difficult step, to forego the latest reality TV show and give yourself to practice. And it's different for each of us. So that's part of it, figuring out who you are. What is the right practice for me? So that's all I have to say. And the computer agrees that we should just go dark now. It's time to stop. So Showa already announced about tonight. Maybe not everybody was there who's here now. I had a wonderful conversation with Kyoshin about this being here, because I'm getting so confused. We did all of these documents, and I had to date and sign every single one, and the dates changed. So it wasn't like I could just, and then I was copying Bernie's, and that was in October. So anyway, I finally made a mistake on a date, but Kyoshin wasn't there. I needed her to tell me what day it was. So then she said, for the final document, the date is December 2nd. And I said, it's not today. And she said, yes, it's today. No, it's not. It's not today, the day. Isn't it tomorrow? No, it's today. And then we both started laughing, and I go, you mean it's not yesterday? And then I felt like Yogi Berra. Bernie loved Yogi Berra. He was going to write a book, and maybe he did, and it never got published, talking about the things Yogi Berra would say and what Dharma there was. But yeah, just be today. Let the celebration happen today. Like that koan, where you go into the festival. This is one of the few koans that a woman is the star. What is it? Iron what? Iron what? Iron grindstone Lou. She is something. And her teacher says, oh no, she says to her teacher, are you going to that festival tomorrow? It's some big festival in China that, like, it's 500 miles away, so there's no way you can go there. And he just stretches out. Here I am at the festival. How awesome is that? So, yeah, so anyway, today we get to have a festival tonight, and thanks for everybody's participation and support. And as Cho said, a few of us are doing the ceremony, and some of the Sangha members are there too, from Idlewild. And then all the rest of you are doing Zazen to hold the space. And you'll feel it, I'm sure you'll feel it. Vairocana Buddha visits. And so then when the festival's over, we'll all get together. I guess we'll probably bring the Zoom, so the Zoom people can be part of it too. The Zoom people. and just congratulate her. And so keep on going. It's not over yet. It's not over till it's over. Did Yogi Bear say that? Sounds like it. Uh, and encourage you to stay with what is. And it's hard. I just was practicing with it before the talk. And I wanted to do the thing with my neck. I didn't want to deal with the music. It's really hard to just let everything be, let whatever it is be. So that's why it's practice. Just keep doing it.